We're headed to the house in Vernon, and I wanted you to see the road. Now this is a non-maintained road. This way you also get to see the neighborhood as well. There's some sizable ruts here in the road. I'm just being honest with you. You know how I am. I'm one that tells you straight. You can see somebody got stuck in the ditch right there. I apologize for bobbling around. I'm trying to hold it as steady as I can against the window. I'm being real honest, this is pretty rough. It's not the roughest road I've ever been on, but it's kind of getting rougher and narrower. Do have garbage delivery or pickup. Delivery, yeah, that's a good one. Garbage delivery. Actually, this stretch of the road is better than the last stretch. I'm kind of surprised. I spoke too soon. Now you do start to get some really beautiful views. Usually when you're in the mountains, you don't get a view of the mountains. You do from Vernon. There we are coming up on the property. There's neighbor. We're turning in onto the property now. Okay, here we are. So here we are. We have some Pinyon Pines. At least it gives it a little bit more of a mountain feel. Don't get me wrong, you're still in the mountains and you can definitely tell. I mean, I'm just standing in the driveway right now. You can see the mountains. Not sure what that little building is right back there. If it's on the neighbor's property, if it's on this property. We have a carport. Has electric out to it. Got some electrical that is just kind of coming up out of the ground here. Must have been for some sort of a light. Or no, I think this was for a satellite dish. I see connections on the end for like a coaxial cable. Those should be the septic tanks right there. At least they look like it. Metal roof. Good sized porch on the front. Does have some more big pinyon pines on it. We do have down here in the block a little bit of separation right there. That could just need grouting. We have Trex on the deck here and the railings. This is an older Trex. And unfortunately, when this Trex was created back in the early 2000s, they had a design flaw in the production. And it's not holding up the same as the newer Trex nowadays. This has a tendency to particleize and come apart with weathering. And as you can see, that's what this one is starting to do. So eventually you're going to need to replace this Trex deck with something else. The railings are a little bit wonky, but that's easy enough to fix. Little building back here. I'll get the key for that and find out what's in there. Now it says it has a Connex box. Which is right there. Plus a storage. Plus a shed back here. And I'm assuming that little doghouse looking thing is going to be the wellhead. Could have sworn this was on metered water. Now, through the trees, that's a very expensive house peeking through the trees right there. That neighbor's got quite a pretty penny invested. This area, you do tend to get a mixture of those super nice homes mixed in with older single wides and double wides. Get a little of everything. I'm not entirely sure what this is. Let's see if I can even lift it. Ugh. Some sort of a pumping thing. They've got some irrigation going on here. Does have a good size lot. I'm going to go grab the lockbox key and we're going to head inside now. I'm on the front deck. It does have a beautiful view. Sits up and it shows, you can see all of the mountains. With a little trimming, you'd see more. Now, I will tell you, I stepped on this part of the deck right here. There's softness in these boards right here. You can definitely feel it going down. So this is a step up part of the deck. They did that so that they could see a little bit more of the view. But they couldn't do it all the way across because of the door. Woo! That board right there is not connected. There's nothing supporting that. There are definite problems with this deck. Somebody did not know what they were doing when they made this deck. They decided they wanted that tree to stay there, so they put a cutout around the tree for the deck. Went around it. Not uncommon in the White Mountains, but not the way you should do it. Yeah, there's definite problems with this deck. Because I've got all kinds of up and down going when I walk across it. I've got it at least twice now. I've almost tripped. Coming in the front door. A-frame style house. Big vaulted ceilings. Ceiling fan. Now, I did talk to the listing agent just a little while ago, and he told me that the only heating source is a propane heater and that little electric wood stove or little electric fireplace right there in the corner. We're going to have to check about whether or not this is financeable in that case. That propane heating might not be sufficient because he said it's really only for one bedroom. It may go conventional, but it will definitely not go any other. The texture on the walls is really, really rough. I'm going to say that most of this house was probably built by somebody who, did the work themselves without a lot of knowledge. We had a water leak right there at some point in time. Don't know if that's current. The floor goes up and down as I'm walking through it. That's one of the other things. This wasn't quite done properly up here. Not sure what they were going for, or they didn't know how to enclose this, but yeah, that's all unfinished there. Kitchen island. An older range. Quite a bit, considering that they haven't made one with a timer on it like this in probably about 50 years. That is a very tiny fridge, and honestly, there's no other place to put one. Little dining area here. Now, granted, you could put a dining area up there in the front and make more kitchen back here, but you'd have to close off the window in order to put a refrigerator there. There's a built-in cabinet here. This is fake brick, by the way. It's not real. Give you an idea how short this is. This doesn't come up to my armpit. So this is really a little refrigerator. Master bedroom. This is the only source of heat in the house. Right there. I am concerned that that is going to be a problem when it comes to financing. Somebody's tried to make some patches to the wall. Didn't really know what they were doing. I think that's a double on the bed size. I may be wrong, that may be a queen, but I think it's a double. Closet area. Unfinished. Electrical is unfinished. No place to really hang clothes unless it's inside of that cabinet. All of the doors need to be adjusted. Floor squeaks a lot. Well, I know we had power in one room. Okay. Bathroom. Now somebody spent some money in here. They put tile all the way up to the ceiling. Walk-in shower. Ceiling isn't very high in this room, I will tell you that. I'd say the ceiling is probably right at about maybe 8. Maybe 8. I could put my hand up and put my palm flat against it. It's a narrow doorway. It's a 24-inch doorway. That noise you just heard was the fan. Fan needs to be fixed. A little bit of bar seating here. He also confirmed with me when I talked with him on the phone that it has been 5 years since anybody's had the water on instead of 4. And I'm going to show you these stairs. They're very narrow and kind of steep, and they're really close to the side wall right here. And the drywall is unfinished there as well. So I'm going to put this down for a second to climb up to the top. We'll be right back. Okay, we're at the top. And I was right about that being narrow. I'm very glad that I haven't gained any weight lately because I probably would have had to have turned sideways to get up the steps. My booty doesn't need to be any bigger for those steps. Coming in here, this is the upstairs loft. Small ceiling fan, and I do mean small. I haven't seen a teeny weeny little ceiling fan like that in ages. This area is naturally warmer, being in the peak of the roof. Carpeting needs to be restretched. It's in good shape in this area, but the carpeting does need to be restretched. We got some daylight coming in right there, where the roof and the wall meet. That's something that would need to be sealed up and fixed because I could get rodents in. Drywall is cracked right there. Unfinished. All of the underside of this wood that's here, this is, it's all unfinished wood. It's going to get cobwebs and everything else sticking to it. It's going to be very difficult to keep clean. Being honest with you, you know how I am. I tell it like I see it. This is big enough up here that you've got 2 twin beds. There's no closets or anything up here, so they've got these little armoires and a chest of drawers here. Looking back down into the living room. Window right there to help let some more light in, but they do have a blind closed on it. Probably to cut the heat. So I'm back downstairs, outside of the house. Going into this little area behind here. And what we have is a man cave. Laundry area. There's the hot water tank. Now, from what I'm understanding, there was no hot water tank inside the house. So the hot water has to travel from here out underneath the porch to go in to the house inside of there where the bathroom is, which could be a problem for winterizing because you've got pipes that are literally exposed all the time. Here's where they put their refrigerator. Kind of hard to stand back far enough to show you, but this is where they put the refrigerator. So apparently when they need things out of the refrigerator, they come out here to the man cave and get it out of the fridge here. I'll see if I got the key to make my way over towards the other buildings. So they did not give us keys to get into this building or the Connex box. I'll tell you, it's not a very big building. And see how narrow that is. Can't be much more than a workshop or a small tool shed. Right there's the property line. Again, she does have some beautiful views. I can honestly say the land and the views are the best part of the property. If you like this property, like it for the land and the views, the house needs a lot of work. Standard Connex box. They typically have wood floors. Back property line. There's a lot of trash on this property. things that have been just kind of discarded. That looks like it's maybe propane. Maybe they put something around a propane pig to pretty it up a little bit. Because that is, right there, a propane valve regulator. Water spigots. Another little tool shed. That's pretty much everything, as far as I can tell. It's a pretty property. The land is beautiful. But you've got two things here that are negatives. First off is the road coming in. That's not a lightweight drive. And we do get monsoon rains up here enough that could turn into absolute mud slick fest all the time, or at least until it dries out. The other is the many issues with the house. The deck has got to be done. The deck is something that cannot wait. Somebody's going to get hurt on that deck. The unlevel floors inside the house, they need to be addressed. The lack of the plumbing with a hot water tank that's undersized for the house, that's something that needs to be addressed. The floors going up and down. We're talking a pretty serious remodel here. If this was just going to be on the plumbing, yeah, you might want to consider it, but I really want you to think about this one if you decide you want to go after it. And this may be something that you'll want to see for yourself. But it does have an amazing view. And that shall conclude our tour for the house in Vernon.